Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening for some of the folks. Thank you for joining this webinar for this month. Last couple of months, we had different topics on conversational AI and deep dive technology, how things will change, how voice will come into the picture. A lot of different topics we discussed. And this month, we thought cash is king with the current situation. So we are all looking for opportunities to grow our business and cut our cost. Given that we are in the BI space, why not we focus on how to cut the BI spend? Probably in half or more. So that's what you're going to hear today. And just a few, very similar to the last month. So ask questions, any questions you have, and let's keep it interactive. And I'll be able to see your questions, and I will try as much as possible. And today, given the topic is more BI spend, we'll focus more on what and how you can cut, what you can automate. We will probably not go very deep on the technology, on how this technology will work. So that part is something we will do it for the next month. So just to set the ground rule, ask any questions you want, any comments, you leave it. And if you like to hear more deep dive or any other topic, give suggestions as well. Myself, I'm Ganesh Gandhishwaran. Most of you know me. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Conversational.ai. Okay, let's start with one question. How many Google searches every year? I think especially in last 1 month, 2 months, we may be doing a lot more because we are in front of the computer a lot more time than before. But even otherwise, can anybody guess how many Google searches every year? The reason I'm asking that, I know I can see some. Yeah, let's wait for a minute or two. I'm just going to read. 2.5 trillion Google searches. 2.5 trillion Google searches. What is that all about? Is information. We are, as human, we are curious about information. What's happening around us? We just go search, right? We have, of course, many browsers, many search tools, many ways to search, but Google is by far the best and biggest. Now, given that we are in the reporting and the BI topic today, just for a minute, think about each Google search we make. Okay, give me the top 10 movies. Okay, I hope everybody's watching movies nowadays. Top 10 thriller movies. Oh, wait, I'll call a developer and create a report, source it from a particular database. Oh, by the way, that will cost $2,000 and 2 weeks. If someone like that, Google, to tell that to Google, what will happen, you think? How many millions, billions of reports Google will have? For a moment, think about how we are doing it in the business world. Aren't we creating report for each and every question our business is going to ask? Who are our top 10 customers? Give me my revenue for last 12 months, right? And I want all the open sales orders. These are all questions like Google we've been asking. Our sales leaders, supply chain leaders, our customers are asking, what are we doing today? We go create a report. And sometimes we put a bunch of reports in a dashboard. But you call it any tool, either a report developer from IT team is doing it, or within the business, someone is doing it. We'll call it self-service. But we are creating many reports, right? So if Google can create it, wow, that how many will be, right? So thankfully, Google is not creating each of the reports. They are just generating it, right? When you go ask one question from your mobile, from your laptop, just ask a question. Google dynamically generate that. And next question, just delete that, whatever you asked. Okay, Google may remember what you asked, but it's a different search now, right? So that's kind of how it's working. Now, sometimes if you know Google or most of the tools, now suddenly you can search with your voice. No longer you need to type. And you can search in many languages. And most of the time nowadays, whether we like it or not, they are all understanding what we may search. And they are proactive. And you can have a conversation with these engines. All that glory, all that super easy search information access is happening on the personal side. I was talking to a very large manufacturing company's business VP. The business VP was in front of their customer, and customer was asking about what is the throttle rate for this newest, the engine you have released. And yeah, I know that, it must be there. Let me search, right? It must be there in my Excel. It must be there in my printout. And she was immediately able to go Google it. What is the throttle rate for this particular engine in this truck? Google gave me that answer. Right? Wow, right? If Google can give an answer to my business question, why are we creating thousands of reports? A lot of reports. Now, another question is a quick trivia, right? I'll come back to some of that. How many reports you have in your company? How many reports? Some companies have just Excel. So each Excel is probably if you create a pivot table, you created merged to Excel and created one report, or you have a reporting tool, whatever reporting tool you have, like all desktop based, open sourced, or Jassy reporting tools, so-called self-service reporting tools. Count all that and count from all the departments: sales, HR, supply chain, multiple different systems. How many reports? 100, 1,000, 10,000 maybe? 20,000, 40,000? You won't be surprised. In my experience, I have seen companies having one company, an automotive company, if I remember right, they came back to us a couple of years back that they have 60,000 reports. 60,000 team, 60,000 reports they have in an old tool, and they want to migrate to a newer tool. And each report, as I mentioned, would have costed around maybe $1,000, or if business themselves doing it, like business themselves doing it, maybe 2 hours, 1 hour. They have to learn the tool, obviously. But it's not just that time. We all think about, oh, report creation is so easy for me. But think about the maintenance of the report. Think about every alternate year, what we are doing, migration, report migration. It's all money. I have managed very large BI portfolios, and well over 60% of the money year over year spent on running that, like maintaining that. And 1 year we upgrade the reporting tool, other year we migrate all that. The next year, all those reports, I need to move from one tool to another tool. This is the new tool. It's all because of we have created these individual objects, contrary to what Google or all the search systems has done, where they have generated it, right? So this is cost is one. As I mentioned today, we'll focus more on the cost. While cost is major one, yes, we are honestly throwing a lot of money in the trash every year, isn't it? And business. Now think about for a minute to our business. Are they using it? This is Gartner's metrics, by the way. They have estimated like roughly around 22% of the employees are using that so-called reports, dashboards, analytics. Whether you call it self-service BI or not, it's only that many are using it. Why? Why are they not using it? Because they have too many. Same problem what from a funding perspective, budget perspective we have. Oh, we have too many and we are spending too much dollars. The same problem that we have too many reports. I don't know which system to go. I don't know which report to ask. If someone asks, if I want to know what was my sales for last month in my East region for this particular product, I need to go find which tool will have it, this tool or this tool, and then which dashboard has it, and go to the dashboard and run that report for last month for East region, and I get it. That will probably take, depends on the comfort, the training, the tech savvy of the person. It takes anywhere between like 2 minutes to 10 minutes. And a lot of people like, give up. I don't want to know. I hope it's good. Or mostly they call. They take a phone and call somebody within the business, within the IT, or within the like a business analyst. Hey, Mike, you know how much revenue we made for this customer or this region last week? And again, Mike probably will be much more maybe familiar with the technology. So Mike can probably do it in like 2 minutes or 5 minutes, but still need to go run a report, find a report, run a report. And 50% of the time you won't find the report. What happens? You have to go request for another report. So that is what we are talking about. The cost of doing all these reports and cost of maintaining all those reports with a limitation of very low adoption, 22%. This was 2016 or 17 roughly. And we, in my prior organization, we were delivering a sales analytics program and a world-class BI tool. And we delivered that. 600 people were supposed to use it. 3 months later, I was checking, who's using it, how the usage is, and what's ROI, real ROI. You won't believe, team. 6 people or 5 people, right? 6 people, 1% was using that effectively, pretty much like every day. And then another like 10% use it like, they used it sometime, but not recently. Why? Why it's happening? What can we do? What can we change? That's what we are going to talk about. I think if you are following Gartner, following the industry, you may hear a lot of terms called adaptive analytics, conversational AI, artificial intelligence, right? You probably hear about a lot. What we are focusing in this session today is how conversationally, same way how we use Google's, Alexa's, Google Homes, Siris, how do we bring them to our mission critical business? And how can we empower our business users more easily so they can search information naturally? Either use voice or text, doesn't matter, right? It depends on where you are, where our customers are. They may use voice. Oh, now I'm in a noisy place. I want to quietly check, search. If I'm in front of my customer and customer is asking, hey, do you have inventory for this item, right? And if I can answer it immediately, they may order it, right? So I can ask a conversational AI companion that, hey, how much inventory we have for this? I don't want to ask loud through a voice. I can probably ask like a quiet chat, and then the agent, the assistant should respond back with the same information very quietly, right? So that is what we are talking about. In the conversational AI world, fast forward from report creations to bunch of dashboards in multiple different tools. Oh, IT will not create, business will create in a self-service BI world. All those we want to erase, those creation of those objects and reports. Go to a search, go to a conversational world. By doing that, we want to achieve two things. One, cut our BI spend half or even more, and double our adoption rate. If 20% of the people are using it, how do we make that to a 40% or 50%? Can we spend 50% of money what we are spending today and double our adoption? That's what we are talking about. And I know I could see some people who have attended prior and maybe familiar, but I could see some new faces as well. So for your benefit, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to walk you through what is this, what conversational AI system should provide when you are thinking about, okay, yeah, it's a good idea. I do want to cut the cost and improve my adoption. What tool to use, how to do. So you may want to know a little bit more that what are some of the critical functionalities. So that's something what we are going to focus on next. Number one, it should be on demand and get insights. What I mean by on demand insight is it is not a coded set of questions. It should be more free form questions. For example, one of your team will ask, you have a finance leader and you have a sales leader. And if you're selling, some quantities, so somebody come and ask, oh, how much sales we made last week? Which one we should give? Sales. Is it revenue or is it the quantity? So the system should differentiate who's asking and what is the context in which they are asking. So that means, the question of, what is the sales, how much sales we made last week? If your finance leader is asking, as a sales leader is asking, it cannot be a coded conversation. It should be dynamically understand what does sales mean. Is it revenue? Is it quantity? So dynamically, on demand, it should understand and it should generate. Look for the tools like that, right? And it's a good idea to have a voice and text. While there are a lot of chatbots out there, you can probably use the text, but voice-based systems are gaining a lot of momentum, especially now with the new norm. We are seeing a lot of use cases for no touch. Even I saw even the elevators where you can just say take me to floor 4 type, or a lot of restaurants coming up with ordering through voice. So voice is going to play a critical role. So look for a technology within the BI space which could provide both voice and text, which voice may be a nice to have today, but just look for both. That is number one. So on-demand insight. The second is when your team is looking for information. As I mentioned in my example, the sales leader was looking for the throttle rate for a particular engine. So we typically traditionally think about BI is always about numbers, all about graphs. No, not necessarily. If you want conversational AI, if you want your salespeople, your customers, your customer service teams want to use it, you cannot limit to point to only a data warehouse or a data lake, historical data, or only the structured numbers. You should be able to read any data, structured, semi-structured, any data which is coming from your data warehouse or a data lake. like a lot of, trends, or it's just real time, like what's my status of that order, or oh, give me my battery details for a particular machine, right? And sometimes it may be images. So not necessarily it's a query. So look for technologies which can not just work with the relational database, which can also use your data which is not structured. Again, go back, think about Google. From that one single search bar, I'm able to search whatever we want, right? Which movie to watch, which are the top 10, thriller movies, or, where should I order and what's the cost for this product. So we are able to, one search bar, we are able to search everything. Some could be structured, some are unstructured, some are images. So that is very, very relevant. Okay, now, before getting into that, I do see some questions. So let's take few questions and come back. That's a good question. How do you connect with multiple databases? That's a good question. Now, let's assume that when you go search in Google, the data is not in one database. The data is in multiple databases. So first thing we need to understand in a conversational AI system, understand the question. What is this question is all about? Okay, you are asking about revenue. Okay, I want top 10 orders by revenue for last week. Top 10 orders. Okay, order, I have sales order and purchase order, two different databases. And you are asking about revenue. So, revenue goes to sales orders. So you're asking about sales order. So we have to decide first, what is question you are asking? And second, which database has this information? So first we assume you have two databases. One is your CRM. The other is your, a warehouse management system or a ERP system, which has all the purchase orders. So two different systems you have. And one could be a SQL server on Azure, right? The other could be a Salesforce. So in one area where you need to fire a query, a SQL query, in the other where you need to call an API. So how technology, by the way, I'm not really zooming on what we as Conversite doing. I'm just trying to keep it more generic as a conversational AI systems in the market. Some systems are generic, which can connect to multiple databases, some are not. So in our case, we determine the question, what questions you're asking, determine the database connection, whether it is how do I connect to this data, whether it is an API, whether it is a database. And then, okay, it's an API, form the API query. And if it's a database, form the database query, fire it, get the data. So that's kind of how we connect to the database. So hope I have answered the question. And if you have follow-up, just keep posting questions. Okay, now we got information on demand. Next question, logically ask this, right? How long you want to go search? How do you know what to search, right? Now I have searched for, we are all now shopping a lot in e-commerce, like e-com platforms and in Amazon and many other things. They create an appetite for you to buy, right? How? They kind of proactively tell you what to buy, and depends on you, who you are, where you are coming from, what your other contacts bought it, what you bought it yesterday. So that is very important. So I'm going to show few, like, for example, this is a proactive insights, a conversational engine. This is probably not a conversational, but the conversational where the system should initiate a conversation. Every day morning, how cool it will be if my system can come and tell me, hey, Ganesh, you have something to look, your day is great start. but you have 33 orders with a negative margin. What we do in traditional world, we go create a report. The report will have all the sales orders and margin. And we may have put a filter that, okay, margin is less, right? A threshold. We keep the report. The report is either created by IT team or the report is created by self-service business team. Creation may be, oh, we are super good. We can go create it. We don't need any help. We don't need conversational AI for creating. Good, no problem. But you created that report. Who's running that report? Who's running a report every day to check whether are there any sales orders with negative margin? Or are there inventories where it is overshooting? Especially cash is king now. I don't want to have too much inventory. And customers are really in a situation where they want a lot of visibility, especially if I have a high priority order. I want to know about it before my customer call me, right? I can have all these screens and all the reports and created it, but every day I need to go run that particular report. And this particular example this was one of the customer, and they had this report. They were running this report very diligent every day for like 2 months, and they didn't find any negative orders, negative margin orders. They stopped running. And suddenly the 3rd or 4th month, bunch of orders with negative margin or low margin, right? Whichever case in your case, they didn't catch it. That's a problem. Out of like the 40,000 or 60,000 reports I was talking about, or even in your organization, say you have like 1,000 reports, just go check how many reports are used, right? How many reports are used just once, only one time. Almost 80% of the reports which are created today just used once, twice, and that too only in the next 1 month, 2 months. Only those 20% of the reports which are there in an executive dashboard, which are mandatory for me to do kind of thing, I use it. So it's because, one, I have too many and it's not proactive. So look for technology, conversational assistants, which can not only just answer questions, which can also proactively identify insights and provide you. And that is where really you cut the cost. Here, the cutting the cost is not report creation. It is also using that report. And by using that, you get that ROI. Creating, by running this particular report for a customer, month 1, we have identified like $23,000. It's just purely and like unnoticed, right? It's not they couldn't notice. Like they have like 2,400 products in their supply chain warehouse, and few products got slipped in the pricing change. Especially this is very common in distribution, right? They just miss it. $23,000, team, just in 1 month, if you could identify. Think about in large multi-billion-dollar companies, how much leakage, a revenue leakage or margin leakage is happening. If you can have a conversational AI system which can proactively monitor how much dollars it can save. The other thing, as I mentioned, proactive insights, because I don't have time to monitor every metric. I cannot ask questions, all that. And I know I have few questions. I'll answer it after this. Now, I know one question I have asked, okay, month-over-month revenue growth for last 14 months. Okay, I asked it. I typically ask for last 12 months. Now, the current think I want to see really what happened last February, last March, right? Is it growing? Is it shrinking? What's happening, right? So I got the answer. But now, okay, I got revenue. I need to now know that I should go look for margin also. So if the conversational AI system is intelligent enough, it can also prompt you what else you can do. This is very similar to a shopping, e-commerce shopping experience, that where it popped me, okay, revenue, cost, margin by month, right? For same last 14 months, say. Okay? So, or it could be for one particular customer I want to do. So, follow-up questions. The system should be able to follow in what I can ask, especially if we are hiring some new people in our sales team or in our customer service team. They probably don't know everything, right? They don't know what to ask, how to ask. So provide that follow-up so that they can, it's what we call an unscripted journey. In a typical dashboard, a report is a scripted journey. Somebody gave requirements. I want to see monthly revenue. I want to see a revenue by customer. I want to see top 10 customer. I want to see the revenue by region, right? That is scripted. And somebody go create a dashboard. And every day you go look at, it will be there, same thing, no change. Whether I'm using only one or all four, or I have a requirement for the fifth one, which nobody is creating because there is no developer available. In all the cases, I'm just going to see the same four metric or four dashboard, four report, right? So that is a scripted journey. What we are talking about is an unscripted journey. Can the conversational AI system learn and automatically prompt me with questions which I could potentially ask? So that is a follow-up question. So I do see a question from Gayatri. Do we have to configure questions upfront, or is it a free flow? No, but by the way, again, I'm not deep diving on Conversite. Look for products where you don't need to configure it, because as I mentioned, especially in an unscripted journey, you don't know what your business user will ask. We don't know what sales team will ask. The moment I see this data and I want to see, oh, why growth went down in February, right? So that should be the question. Why growth went down in February, right? Maybe zooming on February, right? So you don't need to. Typically, I think with the advanced ML and deep learning modules, the technologies are there really to understand the question, make a meaning out of it. So you shouldn't be requiring to pre-configure the question, which is same as then pre-creating the reports. That actually defeat the purpose in my view. So you shouldn't be configuring the questions. It should be free flow. But of course, free flow, it's also very limited. Like think about you are onboarding a new employee in your company, right? And how much revenue we have from let's take a customer like Ford. How much revenue we have from Ford for this month? And the employee will go check. Oh, Ford. Oh, I see Ford and Ford Motors Inc. and Ford Motors Limited. What are you talking about, right? Or say Ford Finance or Ford Insurance. Which one you're talking about, right? So there will always be some clarification required, right? For any system, right? I won't believe that there will be a conversational AI system which will understand 100% of the questions. No, I don't think so. It will be need to be trained, and also ability to learn automatically is important, and ability to ask clarification is needed as well. So I think that's definitely a point to but it should be free flow, but don't expect 100%. Can be like 80%, 90%, but ask questions for me. Sometimes you can ask questions which you are not authorized to ask, like margin, profit, or that information is not available in the system. So those are all the things. Now I want to a little bit deep dive. I think we covered what is conversational AI, how it will help. I want to zoom in a little bit on use cases. Where can this be applicable, especially with a new norm, as we are all calling nowadays, right? With with everybody remote, I don't know when was the last time the salesperson had an in-person conversation with a customer. Most of the conversation is over Zoom or phone call or emails, just emails. And our customers are also looking for, how do we optimize the cost? How do we balance it? All that kind of stuff. And customers are looking for a lot of information about the business which they are doing with you. How much I ordered last month, how much products I have ordered for this last February, last March. Customers are going to ask a lot of questions. And it's probably easy face to face if the sales team is there. No, they cannot do it. How many phone calls they need to make. So think about it. Customer engagement is a very key area where time sensitive as well as where the questions are not anticipated and they don't want to log into our enterprise reporting tool to run a report. Is there a way we can give a reporting assistant or a companion for the customers where they can just ask a question? Hey, how much I spent last month and how many quantities we bought for this item, and what is the price for this item? There are a lot of questions. Or what is the status of this order, right? Especially if supply chain. So customer engagement, to get visibility, to understand if there is any delay. So customer themselves could use it. Very, very, very easy tool to use, right? They don't need to be trained. They're like interacting. It's like a message. It's like a SMS, right? They can use it. The second is sales team. I would say like the most critical team for this new norm. Like they are all remote now. They're all working from home. If at least if they are in the office, hey, I'm trying to find this information, where can I find it? Somebody can go show it, right? Most of the time I see, where can I find this information? Then I have to go show them that, open this dashboard in here, look at it in this top corner, right? So you can't train them now. It's so difficult. And product catalogs, for example, inventory availability, their performance, guidance, all that is so difficult. So that's kind of area where the sales teams needs to look at it. Think about customer service. Very similar. Not every business can give the tool directly to the customers, and you may want to give it to your customer service team. So we had a classic customer service team where you won't believe, like they have like 16 different systems. And on average, each customer service team was, at least logging into 4 systems at any moment. Like there are 4 different screens on. This is the, invoice system, sales order system. Oh, this is another sales order system. This is the delivery system, right? The customer call, ask for information about what's the status of my order. Where is this shipment? Oh, I raised an invoice. What happened to this invoice, right? So a lot of our product catalog questions, right? And every time they have to log in. Every time when you listen to some, you call a customer service, can you hold on a moment? You know what they're doing? They're actually going and figuring out that system. Depends on how easy that system built, how easy or how experienced that person is with that technology. They'll be able to easily identify. It's a huge productivity improvement we can bring, especially in today's situation, that they can connect to multiple different systems just from one screen, one search, either voice or text chat, right? And by the way, you can also easily onboard people, because you don't need to train them on Salesforce and QuickBooks or Oracle ERP and NetSuite, WMS, warehouse management. You don't need to train all of them. Rather, you just train them and put your AI companion in between the customer service agent and all the different systems. So now customer service team ask the AI companion, and AI companion translate and get that information, whatever technology used, APIs and databases, whatever. Okay, and executive dashboard, I think most of you probably know, and then some proactive metrics where it can help you monitor some of the key metrics, especially today, controlling the inventory and the back orders, pricing optimization, areas where you can use it. So let me take one more question now. How easy it is to implement? Priya is asking that question. So, okay, given that the today's discussion was kind of a little bit, more broad, not very specific to Conversite, I'll keep this one very short. Maybe in the next session or so, when we are going more Conversite specific, we can take it. Most of the system should be a plug and play. I was going to show the next slide probably that since you already have the data, whether it is in the ERP, CRM, whichever systems you have, it should be very quick. It should be a couple of weeks, if not a month. If a system is going to take 1 year to implement or 6 months to implement, no, you are not looking at. I think anywhere from 2 weeks to 8 weeks is kind of a good estimate start with. And I would also suggest for any of these systems, start with small, connect with one particular, maybe empower your sales team first. So sales team may need data from 2 different systems, their sales performance and the product catalog. Just give it to them. Quickly start onboarding. Then, okay, now salespeople are using it. Why not we give it to customers? Then why not we give it to customer service, right? And while going from one department to another, you can add additional data sources. That's kind of how I would recommend to do that. So that way, it will be easy, and it will be, it will start giving you the ROI, return on investment, within weeks, not wait for a year. So in summary, the natural interaction with your data is what we call a true self-services. And the self-service today, what we are all hearing is about, oh, I can go create my own report. Are you really self-serving? Or, the tool made you as a BI developer? If a salesperson is there, the salesperson is not a BI developer. We need to empower the salesperson to sell more. We don't want to, convert the salesperson to become a report developer, right? So to me, I don't know why we coined the term self-service in that context, first of all, but the true self-service should be just ask a question and get it back, right? And should be able to, access multiple databases, and should be proactive and on demand, obviously, and should be supporting voice and text. And especially if you are a global company, if you have workforce which are diversified workforce, think about multiple languages as well. It is not granted, because there are a lot of technology limitations as well as complexity involved in providing multiple languages. So it is not granted. Don't assume that if it can search in English, it can search in Spanish. No, it's not, right? So look for that. And the other piece is contextual conversation. If some of you used Alexa, ask Alexa, right? Who's the governor for Indiana, right? And ask Alexa again another question, how do you spell that? Alexa would respond like THAT. How do you spell that? So this is what I would say context. But in the BI or a business world, customers, your users, are not going to ask those deep questions every time. Like, oh, how much revenue we made last week in East region for this product? Okay, revenue. And they'll probably ask, oh, how about margin? Oh, how about West region? Right? So the system should be able to understand the context of who is asking, what they have asked before, and follow through that conversation. It is very important. And then is there a way the tool can collaborate? Like I have asked one question, I got this very nice, cool looking chart. What am I going to do with this? Either, I want to share with somebody, that is collaboration, or, oh, the revenue was low here because of some reason. I don't know the reason. I want to ask somebody. So within the technology, can I ask the assistant back, hey, send this to John, ask, why the revenue went down here, right? So that is a collaboration. So look for technologies, look for features which can bring that collaboration within teams or even customers, right? And then take it to the next level beyond BI. That, okay, you ask, how many open expense reports are there? Okay, there are 4 open expense report for your approval. Is there a way you can ask your AI companion to approve it? Is there a way you can have your customer create a quote and accept the quote? That's all performing actions, again, technically calling an API, right? So ability to perform an action which will really take your AI companion to the next leap. So that's kind of what you may want to look for in that. But again, as I mentioned, from a type implementation side, don't like do a big bang. It's not good, and no one will have money. No one has money, especially with the current situation, to build a 1 year long big asset program. Right? Start with something very, very small. I'd say, like, if you are creating all the reports manually with a report developer, or internally somebody spending like 10 hours to create those reports or running those reports, you just automate it, just that piece, so that the reports can be automatically generated, number one. And second, that naturally interact, let the natural interaction come in voice, text, and all that. Then bring the proactive insights. When I talk about the steps, don't think it's all like 1 year. It could be like week 1, week 2, week 3, right? It could be that. And then, okay, now the insights are coming and I'm empowered. Now, is there a way I can bring productivity? I'm manually going and approving every expense report. I can ask, wait, give me all the expense report where there is no exception. What does exception mean? It's an insight, right? Okay, within 14 days booked and all that, right? All the exceptions. Now, okay, approve all of them, right? So it could be an action, right? So bring it in a flow, bring it in a sequence, so it's easy, it'll be cost effective, and ROI will be better. You may have different kind of tool. I'm not calling any particular tool here, but there are, you may have tools which are just reports. Most of the time, it's are very old. The example I was giving, a customer who had like 60,000 reports, was like a reporting tool. You know many of the reporting tools, and all those, even within the ERP systems, there are reports as well, right? So those reporting tools. And then there are a bunch of visualization tools. The report tools were primarily IT guys, IT team was creating, and really take months and a lot of cost, right? Which I don't need to go deep on that. And then visualization tools came in, right? Easy to use. But of course, there is a semantic or some layers needed to prepare the data and keep the data ready. But then it's easy, drag and drop. But it's still creating a dashboard. So that's a visualization kind of an area. And IT plus some, like a 20-25% of the business users were able to create it. So that's kind of a visualization technology. Cost is moderate, I would say, like not very high, kind of high, still high, because you still need to upgrade and maintain all that kind of stuff. And then the search BIs, right? There are a couple of cool technologies in last couple of years who can do just search, like Google search. I've used enough of Google today. Very like guided search. And one limitation I have seen, they are coming up out of that is you need to copy that entire data in that proprietary system, only then it can search. So that is a limitation for a lot of customers, what I have interacted with. So just watch out that is there a only option to copy the data, or how will I ask if they copy the data, how much inventory we have, right? So you may need to have the ability to connect some real-time information as well. So watch out on some of that. And then conversational BI systems, where, as I mentioned, contextual conversation, real-time, can it be proactive? Is it really a casual user for, very easy, like somebody was asking, right? Like, is it easy to ask question? Is it configured, right? So that. And then potentially, is there a way I can ask questions for information and also place orders, kind of transaction? Like, so one interface for all structured, semi-structured data, proactive insights, and placing orders, kind of a flow. That way it's a business companion for me, right? So that is kind of how you look at it. I think, again, summarizing, we have a couple of minutes, quickly summarizing that, plug and play, and see structured, unstructured, voice to text, information on demand and proactive, and collaborative, right? Collaboration is very, very important team. And performance also is another critical important, which I'm taking care of because it's more technical. If you're asking a question, unlike a report, it should immediately come within like a sub-second. It should come, right? Otherwise, people will lose it. It's not like a report or a dashboard. It can spin the wheel, right? And then potentially perform transactions. So look for these and plan for these when you are doing it. But don't think this is multi-million-dollar project. It can be done very quickly with the technologies out there in the market. So, and again, our concept for today is cut your cost, BI cost, and double your adoption. So all that can be done. You can still cut your BI spend by 50% and bring in conversational AI with all these functionalities to double the adoption, user adoption. It is possible. That's it for today. And again, I'm from Conversite and will be very glad to discuss more deep. As I mentioned, I have kept it a little broad, not going into Conversite purposefully, and looking at that. Next session, I do see some topics, so we can plan for a couple of other topics next time. Go a little deeper, and if you like to get a feel of how the conversational AI system work, feel free to share your email here, and we can show you what we have. By the way, it's like I'm just sharing from a demo perspective. If you want to see a demo, how the technology look like, or you want to feel it, like you can get an access for a couple of days for Conversite. There are definitely this market for conversational insights are growing, as Gartner says. By with all this pandemic, we don't know how the trends are going to be, but a lot of focus is there on the conversational AI side, adaptive analytics in the broader umbrella, automating a lot of manual work which we are doing on the data ingestion, data integration part, plus all the BI visualization part. So I think very much on conversational AIs. In my view, especially in the current situation where customers are remote, we are not able to connect, we need to give visibility, and cost is a big problem. Perfect time to try conversational insights. And again, it is not going to be a one-year project. It can be very quick project. So I leave it. Thank you all for joining this webinar. Looking forward to continue this conversation, and feel free to ask more questions. And you have my email ID and phone number. Feel free to touch base anytime you want. And feel free to connect in LinkedIn as well. Have a great rest of the day and enjoy. Thank you all.